Let's see if the sound is working. Can you believe it? Yep, the sound is working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. And we're going to be talking about mail today. Catalogs and stuff and such. And I think it's going to be fun. And no deep psychological insights for me today. Although yesterday was a pretty popular show. So I don't know. Maybe I should stick with that psychobabble stuff. Imposter syndrome. Not me. I've got 1,500 videos. I'm not an imposter anymore. I actually do this. So anyway, let's have some fun. Let's see what's going on here. This is the Carwow company out in the UK, I guess. And this is their spokesperson that's on the media channel, which has... it's funny. Carwow ads only has 900 subscribers, but or only wow value. But their regular channel, I guess, has 8 million.
Nice car, good price. Should be easy, right?
All right, geezer. I'll give you £2,000 less than the asking price. All right, deal.
No. Car now. Cash later. No, not getting what you paid for. No.
What if I exchange it for my kid's bike?
Only. Wow.
Car wow.
Find the perfect car at the perfect price.
I'm not sure. I like what. Well, we'll get here. Let's get to the article about it. And you know, it's hard to tell what's going on from that. Oops, I hit the wrong button there for sure. I hit the wrong button. There we go. There it is. Nope, that's not it. There it is. Who knows what's going on here? And on that note, we're going to have a YouTube or a Zoom meeting tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow at 3. And I haven't promoted it as big as maybe I should, but there's a bunch of people registered, good people. And they're looking forward to coming. So Amy Houston, maybe you should come. I'm going to send you a special invite. Amy's on the drum, and she has some I use her stuff probably more than anybody else at the drum because she finds me the funny commercials. So anyway, Carwow plays on car buying pains with tongue-in-cheek media series. Okay, so they've got 4 spots coming along. They're fairly short. Matt Watson is the presenter of their YouTube channel with 8 million buyers. He plays the role of a burnt out car buyer and seller. So I like when they talk about Ben Carter, the chief marketing officer at Carwow, says that changing your car, you know, it's a really interesting phrase. I've never heard it before. You know, you say, oh, I got to get a new car, you know, which means you got to get rid of the old car. I got to get rid of my wife's old car. We managed to get it through emissions again. She loves that car, dang it. But I'm not sure I can get it through emissions again. And so I have to sell it off to some other part of the country where they don't have to play with the federal regulations on check engine lights. Does it mean that the car gets less gas mileage because it's burning fuel inefficiently? No, it doesn't mean anything. And most people say it doesn't even mean that the catalytic converter isn't working properly. It means that the sensors are bad, but it's lots of money. So 40% of drivers are worried they won't get a fair price when selling their current car. Yeah, and if somebody, you know, if you want to sell a car for $2,000 under the asking price, ask $2,000 extra. You know, and then you feel good about it. You know, just somebody's gonna ask that. You say, well, no, I really want to get this. And if they keep after you, then you say, okay, well, what would you like to pay? And then, you know, it works out. So always ask a little more because they expect to pay a little less. And the same thing goes when buying a car. People put on a couple extra grand just so they can negotiate. So offer them a little less. I think that's fair. As long as you both know what's going on, right? But there's time wasters, no-showers, tire kickers, jargon users, upsellers. I don't know what upsellers are. Sorry, it's already sold. Yeah, I get a lot of those where you know, they don't take them down when they've already done it. How about I give you 3 pounds, 3,000 pounds less than, yeah, all that stuff happens. Okay. I don't know what Carwow does. I just really don't. But I'm sure they take a share of it. So they may make the process easy, but I doubt you'll get as much. My first Lexus I bought it for about $6,000. This was, in the 90s. No, it was the 2000s, I think. Well, anyway, it was a while ago. Anyway, and the guy selling it said he'd taken it into his dealer and they'd offer him 2 for it. So, he sold it for 6. I got a great deal, I thought. I drove it for another 150,000 miles. Really nice. Full luxury. What a boat. So however this works, Jeff Bowerman said they say don't lead with negativity, but if you're solving a problem, that's a valiant thing to do. And we hope that it will see great cut through. We hope. And that's what your creatives are thinking, right? They're thinking, well, we hope that it'll do well, right? Which brings me to a creative checklist. Dress your creative for success with informative briefs. And this is from the guys at Gunderson. I had to cut and paste it somehow to get it to work right. They have a checklist to ask questions. And I think it's really good. I'm not sure I'd put it in this order, but it doesn't matter if you ask all these questions. What makes the product or service unique? Okay, important and helpful and valuable. Do we understand the features? Because features are usually what differentiates it. There's a lot of ways to solve problems, but yours might have a special chrome-plated whiz-bang. And so make sure you know some of the features. David Ogilvy makes a big deal of this in Confessions of an Ad Man, how he had the Shell answer man talk about how Shell used all these special detergents and things to clean your fuel injectors. But every other gasoline had it in them too, but they never mentioned it. So everybody thought Shell was better, even though it was just the same. So sometimes you can differentiate with features even if you don't have any differentiating features. How about that for a saying? Okay, do we have insight into the problem the product solves? Remember, I would maybe start with this one. What is the problem you're solving, and who has this problem? Which is up here. Who the products are demographically and psychologically. I think I would put this first, this second, and then you got a nice flow into these. How to reach the prospects emotionally. Yeah, I don't think you can get to this one until you've gotten to the other 5. Okay. How the prospect makes the purchase decision. I think that's also excellent. Too often, I've seen ads or mailers without any call to action and without any way to order. Well, you know our website. You know our 800 number. Yeah, no, we don't. Put it on there nice and big. Okay, clear, simple, and direct way to present the offer and the call to action. Right, here we go. So we're getting into the details, but it's still important details. What are the barriers to action? What if they don't have a computer? Could you still take an order over the phone? Could you still take an order in the mail? I don't know. But some of the biggest catalogers in Wisconsin still get a lot of direct mail orders, mail back. What's the reason to do it now? Right? Fear of missing out, exclusivity. We did a whole series on that stuff with Summer Gould. Do we understand the competition? And are we better or different? And again, you can kind of manufacture that stuff if you have a good value. Do we have data insights? Personalization, segmentation, variable content. Watch out for that, as we talked about yesterday. And what's the past performance? Are we going to do any testing? There's one you should add. And if we're not, why not? And if they're not, and they have a reason why not, maybe you should get a different client. That's how I'd come at this. Okay, so potential undervaluation for Williams-Sonoma based on long-term growth. It's a solid company that's been growing steadily. They had a big jump in COVID, boom, and now they have a little tail off. But people bought furniture like there was no tomorrow And you know, there is a tomorrow, and sometimes you have to buy other stuff like groceries. So that's revenue, and there's a lot of details in here, and there's a lot of things that I don't know what it is. Discounted by WACC using CAPM, high ROIC compared to WACC. There you go. But I do know what EBITDA means, and every marketer should. That's like before taxes and debt payments and stuff. It's like how much money did you make as a business, regardless of what your predecessors are putting you through, or the government. Okay, so there's a huge lot of information there, but I also found another article from today, 5 to 7 minutes. It's just 2 minutes before I got ready to shoot the show. Salesforce provides Williams-Sonoma, and the trouble is it's coming from Salesforce, so it's not very well written. I'm sure it would be better if it was a Williams-Sonoma press release. They have these long sentences, hugely long sentences, right? This is like one long sentence. Every paragraph is one long sentence. This one happens to be two, but they should have had a new paragraph for the new quotation. Anyway, Laura Alber says that we always had a history of in-house innovation. Now they're doing Salesforce. They got a lot of brands. What's interesting about this is that they are generating personalized customer connections for every stage of life, from furnishing a first apartment to building a wedding registry. Those seem to be both at the early stages of life, not the full life. So I'm not sure who wrote that part, but what I liked about it was those are real things that you can do for customers, right? Those are real things you can do, and you can help them with. And if you help them with them a little bit, you can find out that they're in their 20s, or you can find out if they're in their 80s, whatever, you know. One of the things that we found out with one of my clients that sold a lot of furniture and things was that if their clientele was older, they might have high net worth, but they might not have much income, right? They might be pensioners who have a mansion. It's possible, right? They might have assets, but they don't necessarily have income. And so you got to be careful with your targeting as you get in different stages of life. But the thing I liked best was that they're focusing a little bit on business to business. And almost every consumer catalog I've worked with, if we looked a little bit, we found a good, solid business to business. Oh, here it is. So they now have a way to better service restaurants, resorts, and allow them to swiftly order in bulk. They're also high spenders should be treated with the same kind of personal care and I mean personal care. I don't mean AI generated personalization like we talked about yesterday. But the first step is segmenting your customers properly so that you can tell the difference between the big spenders and the little. You know, the typical RFM segmentation is 20% of your customers as the best segment. Inside of that 20%, we always find another 80-20, if not 2 or 3 of them. That 1% does about 80% of the first 5%, and the first 5% does about 80% of the first 20%. So there's 2 80-20s, and oftentimes it is high spending, very loyal people, individuals. Maybe they have multiple houses, right? Maybe they manage apartments or something. You know, they own apartments and they need stuff, and so they're sort of business to business and sort of not. Okay, so I really like that Williams-Sonoma has an eye on that. We talk about catalogs as being, a higher engagement, higher cost way to support your customers, give them something nice. And then we're going to get to this, but it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum that goes all the way from, one of my clients has a van. He sells a high-level art. He has Monets, he has Picassos, he has all kinds of stuff, and he can put those in a van and come out and he'll put them, hold them up on the wall where you're thinking of putting it and things. Well, for people spending tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's appropriate contact, right? And so it's a spectrum, and real personalization gets moves along that spectrum, which I think is a better way to think about customer engagement than it is to say, well, how can we fake personalization in digital? Because we sure don't want to mail them anything. It's too expensive to mail, or it's too expensive to answer the phone and have somebody, try to find a phone number half the time on a digital channel. Oftentimes they just don't want you to talk to you. Okay, that says something. Okay, so for retailers, catalogs continue to make their comeback. And this is from Sarah Mahoney from MediaPost. Excellent article, quite long for a MediaPost article. As digital costs keep rising and the ability to micro-target audiences improves, I'm not sure what micro-targeting is. I know hitting a target is good if you're in archery or something, and I do put little dots, small dots on my bigger target to practice. So maybe that's a micro target on a target. But anyway, catalogs are intensifying their comeback. So retailers like Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, IKEA are finding that people still love a print connection. And you can do digital elements like QR codes. Don't just put one QR code on the back of it and take them to your website. If you feature a product, put a QR on it, and you might even consider combining a Pearl with a item level landing page, or take them to that section of your website. Even digital companies like Wayfair and Amazon are using more print products. Jonathan Zhang, we're supposed to do a show together, so I got to reach out to Jonathan. Always love hearing from him and his publishing that he does. I don't know how come. I want to ask him how come he loves catalogs so much. I have an article on that topic for myself. I lived in a log cabin with a half-a-mile driveway, and anything that came in the mail was precious, and we used to sit and study it. The Sears catalog before Christmas. With less user data, digital ads aren't just more expensive, they're also less targeted. Good point. Okay, and people receive catalogs in addition to emails, and I'm guessing this is a holdout test, because if it's not, it's bunk. Why? Why is it bunk? Because, as Arthur Hughes once said to me, email's so cheap, we just send it to everybody. When I was talking to him about how we've gone beyond RFM. And did I mention that we've got a meetup tomorrow at 3 p.m.? That's what this blinky thing is down here. And there's WDMA.org, or I don't know if we have a post up there, but we do have a group, WDMA group on LinkedIn that you can find all the details, or just message me on LinkedIn. That's a good way to do it. And I will make sure you get the link. But Arthur Hughes said, we email everybody, but we don't mail catalogs to everybody. I can tell you that. Clients of mine may have 15 million names on file or more, and we don't mail them all. We mail some subset of that because, catalogs are expensive, but we can target them. And so if you just compared how catalog recipients did compared to email recipients, you would always find a skew because we target the better customers with our catalog. We're not going to waste the catalog on one-time buyers who haven't bought in 5 years or something like that. We might. Depends on what they bought, right? So I'm guessing it's a real holdout list. Jonathan, if you're around, I'd love to hear a little more detail on that. Especially, he says, hedonic products, meaning self-rewarding. And, that's true in general. I remember going to a conference and they were talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how that catalogers should be really in tune with that. And I'm looking around at everybody I knew in the room and I thought there isn't one need catalog in this whole place. We're all selling Italian hand-blown ornaments or something. That was one of the people there. Okay, so more companies are switching to print. 71% have reallocated budget from digital to direct mail. Wow. Nordstrom's is increasing their use of catalogs. I love this. Year after year, no matter how many things we did, the number one thing customers ask for is the catalog. So we prioritize that. Neiman Marcus is actually putting out a hardcover edition this year for their best customers. Direct mail provides more customer-focused approach than a promotional approach. Have a great day. Repost Thank you for all the reposts. Our engagement is going, or whatever, impressions is going sky high, whatever that means. Bye-bye.